Most people aim for 1 million, but the first life-changing number is 10K. You have probably heard that you need $1 million to be financially free, or 10 million, or some number so big it feels like it belongs to a different species of human, not you. Here's what nobody is telling you. The thresholds that actually change your life are not where you think they are. In fact, the first one, the one that genuinely rewires how you think, how you sleep, and how you make decisions, is closer than most people think. For a lot of people, it's reachable in 12 to 36 months, especially if they get serious. Today I'm going to walk you through 3 specific net worth levels, not arbitrary numbers. 3 thresholds that match how people actually experience money, stress, momentum, options. And I'm going to show you exactly what changes at each one and how to get there. And before we go any further, if you are not subscribed yet, hit that button right now. This channel is built for people who are actually trying to build wealth in the real world. Not fantasy numbers, not get-rich schemes, just the real mechanics of money. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's get into it. Before we get into the levels, I want to explain why these specific thresholds matter. Because this is not about picking round numbers. These 3 checkpoints correspond to 3 fundamentally different psychological and financial states. Building wealth does not feel like a straight line. It doesn't feel like gradually getting richer. It feels like nothing is happening. And then suddenly, something shifts. These are the moments where the shift happens. Think of it this way. Below the first threshold, money controls you. Between the first and second, you start controlling money. Above the third, money works for you. Around the clock, whether you show up or not. Let's start with the one that almost nobody talks about, and the one that is probably closer than you think. $10,000. I can already hear what some of you are thinking. That's it? That's the number that changes my life? Hear me out. $10,000 will not change your lifestyle. It will not buy you a car. It will not fund a vacation. It will not impress anyone at a dinner party. But here is what it will do. And this is the part that matters. When you don't have a buffer, every surprise becomes a crisis. With a buffer, it becomes an inconvenience. And the vast majority of financial stress is not about long-term wealth. It's about short-term unpredictability. It's the fear of the unexpected. When your car breaks down and the bill is $800 and you have $200 in your account, that is a crisis. It triggers a stress response. You go into debt. You pay interest. And that debt follows you for months, quietly eating your future. When your car breaks down and the bill is $800 and you have $10,000 in your account, that is an inconvenience. You pay it. You move on. Your stress level barely registers. Your sleep is not affected. Your relationships are not affected. Your decision-making that week is not affected. Same event, completely different life. If you have ever had an 800 emergency moment, drop buffer in the comments right now. No shame, just reality. You are not alone. And if you think 10K is too small to matter, that's exactly why it matters. Here's what's really happening beneath the surface. When you are in financial stress, a massive portion of your mental bandwidth is consumed by low-level financial worry, even when you're not consciously thinking about it. It's running in the background like a program you never closed. $10,000 closes that program. It does not make you rich, but it frees up mental real estate that you can redirect toward actually building wealth, toward thinking more clearly, taking better opportunities, showing up better at work, and making decisions from calm instead of panic. This is also the point where investing begins to make real emotional sense. Putting $500 in an index fund when you have zero savings feels terrifying, because it is a risk. Putting $500 in an index fund when you have a $10,000 buffer feels strategic, because it is. Getting to $10,000 is a discipline challenge, not an income challenge. Most people can get there in under 2 years on almost any income, but only if they treat it as non-negotiable. The moment it becomes whatever is left over at the end of the month, it never happens. Automate it, make it invisible, and do not touch it. When you hit $10,000, take a moment, genuinely celebrate it, because you just built something most people never build, A real buffer. You have done something real. All right, you have your $10,000 buffer. You are investing consistently. And now we're going to talk about the number where the math starts doing something extraordinary. $100,000. This is not just a bigger version of $10,000. This is a categorically different moment in your financial life, because at $100,000, something happens that no amount of saving alone can create. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Long-term averages, not guaranteed. Markets can take years to recover. With that said, historically, markets have returned around 7 to 10% long-term, depending on the period and index you're measuring. That is not a promise. No one can promise you a return. But over long time horizons, that range is what the historical record shows. And when you apply it to $100,000, the result changes everything. At 7%, $100,000 becomes $387,000 in 20 years, without you adding a single dollar. At 10%, it becomes $672,000. Those are nominal returns. Inflation changes purchasing power over time, but the compounding effect is still very real. Your money, compounding silently, generating returns on its returns, growing while you sleep. But more importantly, at $100K for the first time, your investment growth in a single year is likely to exceed what most people can save in that same year. The portfolio starts pulling ahead of the human, and that changes the entire psychology of wealth building. Before $100,000, you are a saver. You are accumulating. Every dollar you set aside feels like a brick you're carrying uphill by hand. After $100,000, you become an investor. The portfolio has momentum. You stop asking, "How much can I save?" and start asking, "How efficiently am I deploying capital?" It's a completely different conversation, and it unlocks a completely different set of actions. You start looking at real estate differently. You start understanding business equity. You start seeing opportunities that were invisible before, not because they weren't there, but because you now have the foundation to actually act on them. Getting from $10,000 to $100,000 requires two things working simultaneously: consistent, automated investing and income growth. You cannot save your way to $100K fast enough for the math to work in your favor. You have to earn more while spending the same. That means acquiring skills that the market pays more for. It means negotiating raises. It means, for many people, building a side income stream that you funnel directly into investments, not into lifestyle, directly into the portfolio. This is where most people mess it up, because they feel safe and they slow down. The danger zone between 10K and 100K is lifestyle inflation. You start earning a little more, and instead of investing it, you upgrade the apartment, the car, the wardrobe. And 5 years go by and you are earning $20,000 more than you were. But your net worth has barely moved. That trap has caught more people than I can count. The rule is simple. Every raise, every bonus, every extra dollar, the first 50% goes to investments. Non-negotiable. Before you decide what you want, the portfolio gets paid. $1 million, the universal target. The number people dream about, write on vision boards, tell themselves is the finish line. And I need to be completely honest with you about what it is and what it isn't. Let's start with the math. There is a principle in retirement planning called the 4% rule. It states that if you withdraw 4% of your portfolio per year, your money has historically been able to last through long retirements. A guideline from historical data, not a guarantee. $1 million at 4% generates $40,000 a year. That is $3,330 a month. In many parts of the world, and many parts of this country, that is a livable income. In New York or San Francisco, it is a tight budget, so let's be real. $1 million is not never work again forever money for most people, but it is something far more powerful than that. $1 isn't the finish line. It's the moment you stop being forced to play. What $1 million gives you is optionality. And optionality is the most valuable thing money can buy. More than a bigger house, more than a nicer car, more than any material thing you could name. At $1 million, you can leave a job you hate without scrambling. You can take 6 months to build something new without panic. You can move to a place that actually makes you happy without being trapped by financial obligation. You can say no to clients, projects, or relationships that drain you because you have runway. You are not rich, but you are no longer trapped. And that distinction, I want you to really sit with that, is one of the most profound changes a human being can experience. Most people will never feel it. You are working toward it right now. A few things I need to say out loud because I am not here to sell you a fantasy. First, inflation is real. In 20 years, $1 will likely buy a lot less than it does today. Your target needs to grow as you grow. Second, cost of living matters enormously. $40,000 a year in a mid-sized city in the American Southeast is comfortable. In Manhattan or London, it is survivable. Barely. Know your number. Do not use someone else's number as your map. Third, the sequence in which your returns come matters. If markets crash heavily in the first few years you start withdrawing, that affects your portfolio far more than a crash 10 years in. Diversification, bonds, and cash buffers are not for cowards. They are how smart people protect what they've built. Getting to $1 million is not about one big move. It is about 4 levers working simultaneously over time. Income growth, not just earning more, but earning in ways that scale. Investment consistency, showing up every month in bull markets and bear markets without emotion. Tax efficiency, understanding how to legally keep more of what you earn because taxes are the single biggest wealth leak most people ignore. And asset diversification, not putting everything in one bucket. None of these are glamorous. None of them go viral. But they are how the vast majority of millionaires in the world, the ones who built it from nothing, without inheritance, without a lucky break, actually did it. Slowly, deliberately, and then suddenly. 3 levels. 3 real achievable thresholds. Not fantasy numbers pulled from a motivational poster. $10,000 to end the financial anxiety loop. $100,000 to let compounding take the wheel. $1,000 to unlock the doors that have been closed your entire life. Here is the most important thing I want you to take from this video. Wherever you are right now, whether you have $47 in your savings account or $47,000, you are on this map. You are at a specific point on a journey that has a clear next step, not a vague aspiration, a number, a target, a path. The people who cross these thresholds are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. At least not mostly. They committed to the next level. They stopped seeing money as something that happened to them and started seeing it as something they were building. Deliberately, patiently, relentlessly. Tell me in the comments, which level are you currently at? And which one are you working toward? I read every comment. This community is built on people who are actually doing the work, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to keep going. If this video gave you a clearer picture of where you're going, please hit the like button right now. It takes 1 second and it genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need this information. And if you haven't subscribed, do it now. Every week I put out content designed to help you build real, sustainable wealth. Not hype, not shortcuts, just the real mechanics. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one.